Welcome, YouTubers. I am Waltman89, and I am back after a long hiatus I spent trying to figure out what I was going to do with the channel, and I have figured it out, and you will see the product in the coming weeks, months, however long I'm up here for, hopefully a very long time. Now, today is going to be a topic video. It is going to be a wrestling video. It is going to be the lost art of finishing moves in professional wrestling. And this is a topic that has been very, very out there for a long time now. But more so the past couple weeks, because in the past while, people like Jim Ross, Stone Cold Steve Austin have brought it up in their podcasts, and even YouTubers, very popular YouTubers like Deluxe Man have brought it up, and I figured I'd give my take on it, and my take is very similar to what a lot of people's is, and the state of the finishing move, the art of the finishing move, is a lost one. And it is pretty ridiculous when it seems like every week someone kicks out of someone's finisher in a meaningless Raw match, and it makes the finisher look like crap. It really does, and it's stupid, because how does let's take a move, let's take what Austin did on the podcast, the DDT. How does the DDT go from in the early to mid 80s when Jake the Snake Roberts introduced it as one of the most feared, deadly match enders there was? No one kicked out of a Jake Roberts DDT. I don't think I've ever seen someone kick out of a Jake Roberts DDT. I don't think it ever happened. And now everyone does a DDT. And even very, more high-impact variations of the DDT get kicked out of. Dolph Ziggler jumps in the air and uses his entire body weight to come down and spike your head into the ground, and people kick out of that every week. How do you kick out of that? How is it believable that if that move was done realistically and the way it is portrayed, that someone would be able to get their shoulder off the mat before a count of 3? Because that person would be knocked unconscious, if not dead. And it just really is annoying how WWE and all of wrestling seems to have forgotten what the term finisher means. It means it finishes the match. It means it is done. That is the move that finishes a match. Not that is the move that finishes a match after twice being done or 3 times being done. That is the move that after 1 time finishes a match. Done. Finito. It's over. But apparently that's not how it is anymore, and that started in the era I grew up in, the Attitude Era, and that is one of the worst things to come out of the Attitude Era. Yes, the matches were great. Austin kicking out of rock bottoms, Rock kicking out of stunners. But most of the time that was safe for the pay-per-views, and even then they did it too much. But now, you do it on Raw, you do it on SmackDown, you do it on just all these weekly shows. And these finishing moves are losing their luster, they're losing their meaning. And it's really, really ridiculous. And it's getting to the point where, you can look at finishing moves today, and they're having to come up with ridiculous things. Because everything's been done, everything's been kicked out of 1,000,000 times, nothing seems to be a finisher anymore. Back in the day, Harley Race used a suplex as a finisher. Rocky Johnson used a drop kick. Hulk Hogan used a leg drop. These are simple moves that were portrayed as finishing moves because they were done by these people. And no one else did these moves. But now, everyone does every move, and everyone's having to come up with these new, innovative moves. And yes, they're cool to look at, but when they're getting kicked out of, they lose what makes them a finisher, and that's the finality of it. And that's what needs to come back. And I think a perfect way to bring it back would be to have someone get a normal move over as a finisher. Something like get a big, huge guy and get a power slam over as a finisher. Someone who is so powerful that when he picks you up and he just falls with you, he falls with you with so much force that the wind is knocked out of you and you can't move. Have no one else do a power slam, and for however long, have nobody kick out of it, have nobody have a counter to it, have it be that when he gets you up for it, you're done. It doesn't matter if you can't get out of it, you can't kick out of it, it's just done. When he scoops you up for that power slam, you're finished. Have no one else do it, like I said, and just, if anyone does it out of instinct, to have him answer to Vince. Have him fined, have him suspended, have him whatever, but make a move special. And when the day finally comes where you're like, okay, he's going to kick out of it, the crowd would pop. The crowd would be like, oh my god, he kicked out of that? No one's ever kicked out of that. And there are moves that should never be kicked out of. Like Yokozuna's Banzai Drop. In no logical way could anyone kick out of that, and no one ever did kick out of that. Yokozuna, 600 pounds, dropping all his weight on your chest. But in this day and age, everyone would kick out of that. And that's what is lost these days. Now, and people are kicking out of moves that once finished matches. How many times do people kick out of top rope elbows? No one ever kicked out of Savage's top rope elbow. Granted, no one does a top rope elbow like Savage, but still, no one kicked out of Savage's elbow except for maybe Warrior or Hogan. And now everyone kicks out of top rope elbows, from Dean Ambrose or when Punk was in WWE when he did it. It just really annoys me how much finishing moves have been fucking watered down and made to be nothing in this day and age. And something absolutely needs to be done before there's no such thing as a finishing move anymore, and it's just a random move that's going to start finishing a match, because no one can have one move to finish a match anymore, because everyone's doing every move that they physically can, because their finishing move has been kicked out of too much and isn't legitimate anymore. There are very few legitimate finishers anymore, and I can't even think of any that I would consider legitimate. Like even Kevin Owens' pop-up powerbomb. I mean, yeah, it's been kicked out of what, twice? At least? And it seems like in every big match, someone kicks out of Kevin Owens' pop-up powerbomb, and that should be a finish that was protected, because that is an amazing move. Like, it is just an art of timing and power and strength from Kevin Owens and the guy taking it, because the guy taking it doesn't cooperate and that move looks terrible. But the pop-up powerbomb's a great move, but it's been kicked out of, and now it's not as great of a move as it should be. I remember when I first saw that move, I was like, what the hell? That's amazing. Now it's just like, oh, that was cool, but he's going to kick out now, because that was only one, and it's going to take 500, because that's how many finishers it takes to finish a damn match these days. And it's so bad that it seems like John Cena needs a new secondary finisher every freaking 6 months. And I just don't understand the logic of this. If someone could explain it to me, what is the logic in having people kick out of 3 and sometimes even 4 finishers? Like, Brock Lesnar is the most finisher-proof man on the planet. I get it. Brock Lesnar's a beast. Brock Lesnar is a monster. But, I mean, how many finishers did he kick out of at the Royal Rumble? Like, combined between Cena and Rollins. It's like, he's not immortal. You can't tell me that even a man as beastly as Brock Lesnar is going to kick out of all that. And it just makes the moves meaningless. Just absolutely meaningless. And the heyday of wrestling finishers was the 70s and 80s, when no one ever kicked out of someone's finisher. If someone hit their finishing move on you, you were done. If Billy Graham locked in the backbreaker, you were done. If San Martino locked you in the bear hug, you were done. If Bob Backlund locked you in the chicken wing, or whatever he did, I forgot what his finishing move was during his title run, but you were done. You were absolutely done. You do not kick out of those. You do not get out of those. And starting in the Attitude Era, it's just they needed something to keep eyes going, and they started with the style of match that we get today, the fast-paced, the multiple finishers, the kicking out of finishers, the 10,002 counts, and it's a very exciting style, and it's entertaining, but it makes the finishing move not special. And that's what a finishing move is supposed to be. Think of Mr. Perfect. A perfect plex. A leg hook bridging suplex. That's all it is. It has no more impact than a vertical suplex, but he won every match with that. And he did it beautifully, better than anyone's ever done a fisherman suplex before or since. And now that move is meaningless because a billion other people have done it and a billion other people have kicked out of it. And now it doesn't mean anything. And it does not help that finishing moves are seen so much. Just so much. Just, you can't win with a move that's not the finishing move anymore. You can't win with a bridging suplex. You can't win with just any secondary move anymore. It has to be the finisher every week, every Raw, every SmackDown. You have to win with your finisher because you have to use your best move because you have to look good. And it's making the moves old and stale, and that does not help the fact that they're made meaningless by the fact that everyone kicks out of them. And I know I'm rambling on, and the point is, they need to find a way to make finishers mean something again, because if finishers continue meaning nothing, then we're going to see matches ended with a neck breaker. And it's not going to be a special neck breaker because it'll be the 900th neck breaker of the match. We need to go back to the days of you get hit with a finisher, you lose. You don't get hit with 2 finishers and lose. You don't get hit with 3 finishers and lose. You get hit with 1 finisher and you're done. People need to get that, and I don't see it happening, but I wish it would, and I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think when Triple H takes over WWE, that's going to be something he focuses on, because if you look at NXT, people don't kick out of finishers in NXT except for the big time matches. You don't see people kicking out of Baron Corbin's End of Days. You don't see people kicking out of Finn Balor's coup de grace. You don't see people kicking out of Hideo Itami's running kick or any of that, except for on the big shows and in the big, very, very meaningful matches. And even then, it's once in a while. You don't, I think for the first time ever at this past TakeOver, I saw someone kick out of Tyler Breeze's beauty shot, which is a simple spinning heel kick. But it's made to seem like it's ending matches, because it is ending matches. It's made to seem like he takes your head off. And that's how finishers are supposed to be. NXT, it's not perfect with finishers, but it's a lot better than the main roster. It's a lot better than anything you're seeing out there today, as far as the value of a finishing move goes. And I think once Triple H takes over for Vince, that's going to be the direction we go with finishers. And that'll be a very positive move in the right direction for WWE when and if that happens, and hopefully it will. And that is it for me today. That is my rant on finishing moves. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell me what you think. Tell me, what are some of your favorite finishers? Hell, I'll list off mine. Macho Man's Flying Elbow. He did it better than anyone else. Mr. Perfect's Perfect Plex. It's such a beautiful move. The Sharpshooter. No one got out of it. And those are probably my top 3 favorite finishers. And to specify, the Sharpshooter done by Bret Hart, because no one else applies it right. Everyone else leans forward when you're supposed to lean back. But, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your favorite moves. I will be back later in the week for my sports video of the week, and it will be a UFC-centered video, and it will be my top UFC super fights that could still happen with people contracted or that could be contracted. And until next time, thank you for watching. I will see you all later.